Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Ducky Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing NXT October 10, 2023 edition. And while this edition of NXT did not have a special name or huge title matches promised, it was probably one of the more hyped episodes of NXT. You had John Cena making an appearance standing in the corner of Carmelo Hayes for his match with Braun Breaker, while Braun Breaker would have Paul Heyman in his corner. Cody Rhodes would make an appearance, and well, he was advertised to make one major announcement, and instead he made multiple announcements. Butch and Ridge Holland would compete alongside Tyler Bate in the Pub Rules match against Gallas. So WWE wanted people to tune into NXT over Dynamite. Very childish, very immature. Even going so far as to tease a legendary appearance by The Undertaker himself. Did the show live up to the hype? Yeah, I'm thinking it did. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with Cody Rhodes, who would announce the return of the Men's Breakout Tournament and the Dusty Classic Tag Team Tournament. He would also tell the NXT Universe that he would be the guest general manager for the show. Also, he made an NXT Championship match official with LA Knight as the guest referee for whatever reason. So as far as hype promos go, NXT has rarely had one that felt this big. Rhodes in NXT was certainly a big deal. He played off Dragonov well and kept the pace moving on a jam-packed night. The actual announcements by Rhodes were not quite as major as promised, since both the tournaments were already expected to happen. However, NXT made up for it by booking a surprise NXT Championship match. While it is usually better to start the night with action, especially when you have no commercials for the first 30 minutes, this segment showed the importance of the night. Pub Rules, Brawling Brutes and Tyler Bate versus Gallas, and this was a pure brawl, pure chaos, highlighted by moments of in-sequence offense between the competitors. The only mistake NXT made was not making this the opener and avoid the commercial break cutting into this match. WWE has an opportunity off this win to make Bate a part of the Brawling Brutes going forward. Sheamus is out with injury. He's not replacing him, but he's a good substitute to kind of be that. Yeah, but he's a good fill-in, and even when Sheamus returns, you can still keep him around. Bate has waited for his shot on the main roster, and he has chemistry that even Sheamus and Ridge Holland cannot match with Butch. Now, unfortunately, here Gallas does lose another big match, which certainly does hurt their credibility, and perhaps a way for them to regain their credibility would be to leave NXT. They've had a run with the tag titles, so I would say they are ready for that bigger spotlight. NXT Championship match, Ethan Dragonov versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio with LA Knight as the referee. And well, when you work with a Mad Dragon, you usually look pretty good doing so. But give credit to Dominic to Mysterio here. He had one of the best performances of his career, going move for move with Dragonov for most of the match. While the overbooking towards the end was inevitable, that was the good thing, that it was kept to towards the end. The result was a physical battle of two men on the rise in different ways, and it was a great showcase of why Dragonov should be NXT champion for a long time. Now, LA Knight's involvement, a bit distracting. He didn't really have a reason to be involved here, but he didn't overshadow the match, and he did play the referee role well, and never slowing down the action. So it's excused, and it's LA Knight. And then main event, Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker, two guys who, well, let's just be honest, these guys do not have any chemistry together, and even then they competed in 3 matches, and none of those matches were great or memorable. Even though they are the top 2 guys in NXT, they can only reach that level of good together. That's just their chemistry. They've had better rivals, but this was still a solid match, solid effort from both. Better than their standard deliver match, that's for sure, but not quite a show stealer. NXT did not give away too much early when it came to Undertaker's surprise arrival, but there were enough whispers going around to expect it. It was a fun moment, but probably won't lead to anything. Not that anybody should expect that to lead to anything. The goal was ultimately to highlight the faces of NXT and give credit to them. They presented themselves well. Cena and Heyman were mainly there just to draw more eyes to the match. And, like I said, it was all about boosting the ratings because WWE had this childish need to outdo AEW. So in conclusion, what NXT did this week is not sustainable for the brand going forward, but it could prove useful in terms of getting NXT lasting attention. Rhodes and Cena put over the gold brand in a big way that should resonate with casual fans. The best match of the night was Dragonov versus Mysterio, both NXT regulars these days. And that match showed why the Mad Dragon is the top guy in NXT. The show also featured very solid matches, including Hayes versus Breaker and Brawling Brutes versus Gallas. More importantly, it kept the focus on the future stories of NXT going into Halloween Havoc. The goal was to deliver a memorable night and bring new eyes to the product. While the final viewership numbers will decide if that was a success, NXT had a very good night by its own standards. And if NXT, a brand that is on the rise, can keep this momentum going forward, NXT could be that true third brand for WWE, or WWE could have a true third brand for the future that could create lasting stars, lasting stars, be able to funnel people into the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And with that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.